Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a Corgi Mini Cooper. So it is on the turntable now. It's a bit battered and what have you. Someone's had a bit of fun with a Sharpie on the roof, as you can see. But today we're not actually going to be like restoring this one. We're going to actually be recreating or attempting to recreate a race car Mini that belongs to a guy from a channel called Making for Motorsports. His name's David Fox, and he basically drives this little Mini in competitions where he does, I think it's called Autosport. I'll have to look up, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sorry about that, David. But basically he does like, goes around on a little course, forward and reverse gears, as fast as possible, handbrake skids, J-turns, all that type of fun stuff, in and out of cones, this, that and the other. And he has to do it the fastest time possible. And he's chose to do it in a little Mini that he's built, and it's absolutely fantastic little car. So go to his channel, check him out, and you can see what I'm talking about. But I'll be showing you images of his car and what have you, give you an idea what we're going to be doing. But as I say, this little car's got a few little dinks here and there. The wheels are going to be coming off because we're going to be making my own wheels for it to match his. So they're a little bit wibbly wobbly here, but as I say, they're going to come off, so it makes no odds. So yeah, so we're just going to have a little play about with it and chop it up and change it and what have you. So anyway, let's get into it. So as I say, it's David Fox, and it's Making from Motorsports. Here's the Mini now. I'll just pop it in the window for you just to give you an idea what we're going for. So we've got to start off like any other restoration project. We've got to take the bottom off. So this one's screwed in, so it's an easy one. So just pop these screws out, get the base off, get the interior out and the window out and what have you, and we'll crack on with it. Yeah, I just thought it'd be a fun little project to do, something different. And say, like he helped me out with a few things to do when I was getting into 3D printing, and I learned quite a bit off him. And I watched his little videos, like he was making stuff with his card, and it just sparked an interest that like I wanted to recreate it. So I got in touch with him and asked him if I could do it, and he said yeah, so here we are. So anyway, we've got the base off, so we'll pop that open. Take out these bumpers and grills. I don't think we're going to be using them. Take the back bumper off. Pop out the interior. And get this window unit out. I'm not going to take the doors off, they're more hassle than the work trying to get back on. They never line back up, so I should be able to get round the doors, no problem. So here's the window unit, so it's all in good order. Just having a little look here, get the steering wheel out. So yeah, leaving that aside, leave the doors in. We should be alright. Other than that, it's a solid little car, this. So there's a little dink there with the 8 posters bent and the roof's down. And there's the interior. We're going to be chopping that out, that seat out, because he only has one seat in his car. And he has no interior whatsoever, so that should be good. So we're not going to be using them wheels, so they can come out. So I'm just going to drill out that little clip there, pop them out. It's got a funny old clip on this one, actually. It's a bit weird. We'll still get it out though, won't be an issue. Little bit of persuasion. Right. As I say, for the glass, someone's had a little bit of fun with a Sharpie trying to tint it. We all done this when we were kids, didn't we? The half fell tips out and colour the windows in. But anyway, I'll stick that in some Dettol. That'll come off. Now, we're not going to be using the front of this. As you can see in the inlay, he doesn't have a front grille on the front, so we're not going to be using that. Right, let's get some Dettol on the go and get this glass cleaned up. So I've just popped it in there. You'll see it more or less works pretty quick. It just loosens up all the ink, and it's absolutely fantastic, honestly. the antiseptic thing, Dettol wash, whatever it's called. So we'll just leave that in there for 10 minutes, just to do its thing. Put the lid on. I love the smell of that stuff as well. So while waiting for that, I was going to get the lighter on this, get a bit of heat applied to it, and then I can try and straighten it out a little bit. Just grab a tool to do the job. Right, here we go. Right. So when you're doing this, you just want to apply a little bit of heat, but not too much and not too long, because this stuff, it melts really quick, and you'll end up having a very bad day really quickly. So just apply a little bit of heat, frequent, but like little short blasts, you know. There's no right and wrong way of doing it. You've just got to like get on with it and just do it, and just sort of set your own benchmarks, you know. So I just do a little bit of heat, push it down, apply pressure, twist it with pliers, whatever it needs. But you've got to be firm, but you've got to be careful. So I'm just going to say, just hold it down with pressure till it cools off a little bit, and then we'll try and move it a little bit more. So it doesn't really need much, this. I'll end up getting some pliers on it as well, I think. Just tweak it a little touch. And say, if you're going to do this, just remember that heat does travel on these little cars, and wherever you're like heating up, it won't just stay there, it just heat the whole roof, and you can burn yourself, so be very careful. I've got the mold grips on this now, just to adjusted it and give it an equal pressure. So I'm just going to add a little bit more heat to it. Not much, just a little bit. There we go, that should do it. It's always best to use like a cigarette type lighter, like what I'm using, an oven lighter. Don't use a butane torch, because it'll just disintegrate your car. It'll be gone in front of your eyes. So you just want like a little naked flame, not like a blowtorch with a cone. Or you'll be really upset with your results. So let's just tweak this. Right, so that should be all right. So I'm just going to keep tweaking this, and I'll get back to you when we're on the next stage. All right, so we're finally getting there a little bit, making a little bit of progress. I say it's straightening up a little touch. It's just got a little bit more of a kink, so I'm going to adjust the A-frame, because that's got a little bit of a kink in it. So if I straighten this up from the sides, that should, in theory, push up the front of the roof. So there we go. As you can see, I've done that off camera. I just straightened it out a bit, and it's flattened up the top. It's still a little bit wibbly wobbly there, so I'm going to add a little bit of milliput and sand it down with some wet and dry, and that should do the job. So anyway, let's just check on our window now, or the window unit, see how we're getting on with that. Let's give it a little swill. get the Lecky toothbrush out and give it a little wipe off. As you can see, it worked wonders. You can see it coming off in front of your eyes. It's brilliant. Such a cheap option to clean the glass up, this is. It really does work. People use brake fluid and all the rest of it, which does work, but I just find Dettol works a lot easier and a lot quicker. So there you go, see, it comes off lovely. Give it a little swill. And there we go, it's come up lovely. Just give it a little rinse off now and a wipe with a tissue and it'll look like new. So that's like 10 minutes in Dettol and it brings your glass back to new. It's fantastic. Just go over it once more, make sure it's all off. Get rid of any residue anywhere. There we go. And there's all the crap in the bottom. So let's get that out the way so we don't knock it over. Right, let's get organised a bit. So we need some milliput for the roof. So first we need to get the paint off, actually, be easier. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of paint stripper on. Not much. People tend to put loads of this stuff on, and it doesn't make sense to me. You know, each to their own, and they do it their way. That's fine. But I just use this cheap stuff from Asda, and basically the less you put on it and then cover it, it sort of fumigates itself off. You know, it does work really well with the fumes of it. So I just put a really thin coat on. It looks a lot here now, but I'll spread it out quite often, like it goes inside and out, and it'll just be a really thin coat. And basically I'll leave it for like 20 minutes, half an hour maximum, covered, and then when I come back to it, you'll see it. It works wonders, it really does. Less is more, so to speak. That's the way I do it anyway. I'm not saying other people's procedures is wrong, because it's not. They do them, you know. This is just the way I do it, so I'm just telling you how I do it. So I'm just going to like spread it all over, get it inside the car and out. Just keep spreading it about. I know you should be wearing gloves using this stuff as well. That's my bad. But this stuff isn't. It's not as bad on your hands as other stuff, but you still need gloves. As you can see, it's very thin layers. You still see all the paint and all the markers underneath the overpainting. You can still see it all, but I'm just going to pop it over now with a cover. And then I'll just set it aside for half an hour while I have a cup of coffee or something. So I'll just get my tissue out there and get the cover on it. Just clip it in. Right, that's done. Set that to one side. I'm going to grab my coffee. I'm going to drink my coffee while that does its thing. So here we go. Coffee was beautiful. Taking it off, and as you can see, boom, we're ready to work again. So it's all bubbled up. It should peel off nice and easy. Here we go. It's coming off great. I know, like, I use caustic soda a lot, and that's great as well, but I just thought, like, for this little car, there's no point. I might as well just, like, bring out the paint stripper and do it this way for now. I know it's a little bit messier, but I only tend to use the caustic now for the bigger jobs. Wipe off now, it's all coming off, lovely. Also notice with this stuff as well, once you get like the majority of it off and then you're left with like little bits here, there and everywhere that's sticking, once you run it under the tap, get some like fairy liquid or dishwash soap, whatever you call it, a little bit of that warm water and an old nail brush or an old toothbrush and give it a little wash under the tap, everything falls off and it gets neutralised as well at the same time. All the chemicals that was in it are washed away and neutralised, so it cleans it all up. So that's what I'll be doing to this once I've got the majority of this off. As I say, it just wipes off. Right, so I'm going to carry on doing this now. and I'll get back when I'm ready for the next bit. Alright, so as you can see, I've rinsed it off in the sink now and it's all come up lovely, nice and clean, all paint's gone. Done a fantastic job. It's a little bit oxidised, but we can sort that out in a second. So that leaves us clear way now to put the roof the way it should be with some milli put. But first of all, I'm going to clean it off, half of the car off, and show you the process what I go through just to get the oxidisation off. So just get a little rotary tool. Not too much pressure on this, just you know, just clean it all off. Let the tool do its job. Start applying too much pressure, you're going to leave scratches and stuff inside the casting, and that just brings you more work. Just let the tool do its job. Let's go down halfway down the roof here now. This is where we're going to be fixing in a little while. There we go, that's that bit. Let's get down the back and I'll get the boot done. Remember having a Mini, I got a Mini for my 16th birthday off my mum. And it wasn't a runner, and I wasn't allowed to drive until I was 17, so I had like 12 months to like get it on the road, and it was like a hobby, you know, it was brilliant. So I had this little 1 litre Mini when I was younger, and what I'd done was I stripped everything out of it, took all the panels off the side, the A panels and everything from the wing, and I de-seamed it, which was basically turning the creases that you see on a Mini down the edges and the bumpers and all that. And I folded them the opposite way and then welded them all back together and then filled in so it was a smooth body rather than like the little lines that you see on the Mini. I'll tell you why I love that little car. I had Wolf Race alloys on it. It was a rapid little thing. So anyway, not needless to say, the minute I passed my test, I wanted bigger and better, so I only had it running for about 6 months and then I sold it on. And then ended up getting an RS 2000 Ford Escort Mark II. I had a Mark 1 as well, the RS 2000s. I was always after the Mexico, but it was well at my price range. So I just got myself an RS 2000 and just tracked on and done that and brought that back on the road. But yeah, I loved it. Anyway, so we'll digress now. So cleaned all the sides off here, as you can see. Comes up alright actually, come up pretty nice. So yeah, that's the process to do to clean the cars up. As you've seen on all the videos, you know the score, but any newcomers, this is what I do. So let's get some Scotch Brite. I think this is 1500 and 2000 grit. So I've done the rest of it now. I'm going to go over it with that, and then I've put milli put on this, as you can see. Done that off camera. Takes about half an hour to set, see, so I've just got to rub that down a little bit better. Bit of wet and dry on it. Let's put a little bit more on actually there, just to smooth the edges off. I say it goes on okay, but it gets tacky. You're better like wetting your finger actually, just like, and you get a little rub with your wet finger, and then it goes on smoother. You get a better finish. But then obviously because you've added water to it, it's going to take that a little bit longer to set. But it just gives you that extra couple of minutes to apply a smoother finish as well. Just smooth it in and blend it in. Get rid of any seams, any other little bumps anywhere. And then clear out anything with the little craft knife. Goes into the little gutter and the seams anywhere. Just clean up. And you're better doing that now while it's malleable. You can still do it when it's gone off, but it's a lot more work. So just get into any lines that it's got into now while it's a little bit wet. So that's that. So just leave that little piece on my desk now, and that gives me an indication of when the rest of the car's gone hard. Because once that's hard, it's an inkling. There we go. So sanded it down. And it's only a little tiny little speckle now. It looked a lot worse before, but that's all cool. So now we've got to get onto the interior and change this and make it look like it needs to look. So here's a picture of what we're going for. As you see, he's only got his driver's seat in there and everything's all bare bones, stripped back for weight reduction and all the rest of it. So I'm just going to take the rotary tool and start hacking away until we get something that resembles what we need to be. So start off just chopping out this front chair, passenger seat. And I'll actually take out the floor as well, because it'll be easy to just chop it out in one section and then fix it from there. Right, so that's that done now. So we're going to take some styrene and we're going to just cut out a little piece, make it easier to work with. So you basically just get either a craft knife or a pair of good snippers. Even scissors will do it if it's like not too thick. Just going to get me a little 3D printed enabled T-square, which is great. I just printed off this little bracket and slid my ruler into it, and I've got myself a T-square. So we'll get the old craft knife out, just score it a couple of times. And then basically you just fold it along the crease and it just snaps off in place. Really easy to use. So I could have snapped it off there without the score in it, but it just gives you a better finish, I find. So just pop that piece out, put the rest of it away. And now we'll get the interior and we'll mock up a floor panel just to fit in what we've cut out. There we go. So you just take a pencil or a knife or whatever, just put it against and then just cut round the silhouette that you need. And then just cut it out, pop it in. That should do it, I think. Just cut this other extra piece off, it's going to get in the way. Oops. You know, cut it off easily with these snippers. Get that out to one side. Never throw your offcuts away or styling either. Honest to God, it's so useful, this stuff. You can use it and use it and use it. All your offcuts, all pieces come in handy. It really does when you're doing details on cars or you scratch building anything. So never throw it away. So I'm just going to super glue that into place. Just draw around a little bit more here, get a closer fit. There we go. So I'm just going to trim this. Watching I don't trim my fingers at the same time. There we go. Right, should just pop off now. Happy days. Just a little bit more trimming, just get the shape. Right, let's see if we're any closer. Yeah, we're getting there. There we go. Let's get a little bit of glue in now. Just move the finger out the way because I end up sticking my finger to the bloody thing. There we go. So that's tucked well. Just a little bit more glue now just to secure it. I'm using a really thin super glue on this one as well, just so you get that capillary action where like you place a little bit of glue down and it finds its own little gaps, nooks and crannies everywhere. That's why you need to move your fingers, because you will guarantee you will go all over you. It seems to find its way everywhere. So we get the lid back on that so it doesn't go everywhere. I always end up with it on my desk as well, and I put my hand down on my desk and next thing I'm stuck to my bloody my desk, you know. Gets everywhere. Just waiting for this glue to dry off properly. That should be alright though. Right, let's get some baking powder on it, just to dry up any more glue that's about, and it'll strengthen the joints. Has like a chemical reaction against the super glue. and it sort of welds itself to the plastic. It's fantastic. Right, let's get a little bit more glue. Just double checking that this is holding, that's all I'm doing. It's overkill actually, it is alright, but I just want to make sure. So I'm just going to run down all the seams with glue, and then I'm going to put more baking powder on top. Just dump a load in. Give it a little tap, move it about. Just be careful not to actually, if you're going to put the powder on now and then go back with super glue, make sure that you don't touch the end of your super glue to the powder, because it'll work its way inside the tube, and when you come back to use it next time, it's all solid. It's gone off inside the tube. So just be careful not to ruin your super glue. And I'm not going to say that's how I know, by like destroying a £10 bottle of Gorilla Glue. Not by any means. I didn't actually put the brush down on a pile of it and put the brush back in my bottle, honestly. Well, I did. And it cost me £10. Stupid, silly mistakes, but I've never done it since. Here we go, I've got glue everywhere. So I was going to give that a wipe off. Give it a little tap. Just knock it all out, all the excess, get that out. Just make sure everywhere's covered. Waste not, want not. There we go. I know this bit's boring, but it needs to be done, I'm sorry. I thought I'd show you more the process of, like, because I don't usually do a lot of customising and what have you, but I just thought I'd show you. So that's what we've ended up with so far. I know it looks a bit messy with the powder everywhere, but it'll clean up. But all the joints are solid. I've just got to trim down the edge now, make sure that it fits properly. Get it trimmed off. Right, so these are the other pieces that I used. I get these from a company called Evergreen, and they do all different types of shapes and sizes, and these are just a few pieces that I've got, but they do thousands of different shapes, and so honestly, you can make anything with this stuff, and it's really cheap. You can get a starter pack with a little bit of everything in for about £20. Sounds a lot, but the stuff you get, it'll last you 2 years easy, maybe more, and you can scratch build your own vehicles, models, dioramas, anything with it. It's absolutely brilliant. So I'm just what I'm doing here now is, it's like, oh, how can I explain it? Instead of having a roll cage in the car, he's got like support struts on behind his chair, and it runs along the back of the floor. So I'm just like sort of imitating this now. So I'm just going to cut out a few little sections, piece it together, and then put it into place. So I'm just going to cut like different shapes from different pieces and just mock it up basically, just make it up as I go. I know that's far too much what I've cut off there, but as I say, it comes in useful. It goes into my little scrap box and I use it for different projects. So it never goes to waste. So get that out the way. Right. So what to do? Move that out the way. Let's clean all this mess up first actually. Let's get rid of this. Just throw it. I'm not just putting it on the floor there, there's a bin there. Excuse me. Right. Just measure it in with my eye, like eyeball it in. I'll super glue out again. Just going to pop that into place. So there we go. I'm just going to stick all these little bits in and trim it off, and then I'll get back to you and I'll show you what we've got. So I'm just going to shut my mouth a little bit now, just crack on and do this till get it done out the way, and then we can move on. Alright, so after trimming it there with the rotary tool, I'm getting it closer now. So this is what we're ending up with. Got the floor panel in. We've got the little strut bars at the back. So I'm just basically just getting it back as similar area to what it was, so that when we put the body back on it sits nice and flush. I'm not pressing hard, I'm just letting the tool do its job. I'm just running along the edge there, as you can see. But we're getting there. It's being finicky now. I want it to look right, you know. So we'll check we've got it all. It seems to be okay. I just want to get these pieces in here now. There we go. That's what I was talking about. It's got like a little cross beam at the back. So I'm just gonna, it's not gonna look exactly like that because of the way the seat is in this little model. I haven't got that much room, so I'm gonna go straight across just behind the seat, just to imitate what it's gonna be like, the use of it, you know. It's just sort of the details there, basically. Right, so this is what we ended up with. I've also done the front driver's seat as well. I've like put the little sides on and chopped the headrest off, make it look like a bucket seat, just to imitate David's car. So this is what we ended up at the back, like a support system. They've got a new floor pan in, and then we've got the seats there as well. So he took the headrest off. The reason he does this, he's angled his seat as well. It's so that when he's driving, he does a low reverse and he can just basically just look over his shoulder a little bit rather than having to turn his whole body around. It's just all for like getting better speeds and stuff and making his time sort of quicker. So that's why he's done that. But I didn't want to like take this seat out and do that. So I've left the seat straight on, but I've imitated the seat every other way. And say once it's all painted up and cleaned up, it'll look a lot better. So I've got a little bit of primer on it now. As you can see, it's looking, it's starting to come together. The interior is looking well as well. Also, that needs to be painted black. But where we done the little repair on the top of the roof there, we'll you can just see it now. I'll just get it. There you go. It just needs a little bit more wet. So I'm going to rub that down a little bit more wet and dry, and then re-prime that. Oops, it's stuck. Yeah, so I'll get that out of the way and I'll do that off camera. So we'll just get this ready now. It's turning out okay actually. It's starting to come to into shape. So that needs spraying up. So there's the tyres off the set of wheels that I made. So I'm going to show you a little clip now, a little time lapse of me actually making the wheels. So you know I've made them anyway. I just 3D printed them off pretty quickly here, you can see. So design beyond wheels for give it a unique look. If only it printed this quick, honestly. It took over an hour to make these little wheels and tyres. Anyway, there we go. And there's the little wheels. This is what we ended up with. So I'm just going to, I've already popped the wheels off because I had to paint them. So I'm just going to paint it with Vallejo black. Just put like a little layer down on the tyres. And there it is all mixed up, just going into the airbrush. Okay, so let's get going on it. I was a bit lazy as well. Last time I used my airbrush, I didn't clean it properly, so it's not spraying as well as it should be. So I'm just going to have to make do with it and then give it a good clean after I've done this. I think I got distracted and it was one of them jobs that I said, I'll clean that when I come back, and I was just all about it. So I'm going to go over and give it a couple of light little coats. It's going to take a few coats to do it all properly, like as I say, but just going to start off with a little light thin coat. The light in this cabin's deceiving. It always looks like I've missed a bit. I mean, you turn it on, it's not actually covered, it's just the reflection of the light. So, oops, put it in here, eh? So we give this a little once over while we're here. Put the same colour out, so get this done. So a couple of light coats and then blast it with air as I go. Just to dry it off quicker, and then I can apply a wetter coat onto it then. Go. As you can say, the airbrush isn't spraying as good as it should be, so it's like coughing and farting as it goes, you know. Just blasting a little bit of air out now and then with a piece of trunk up here. As you can see, the styrene sprays pretty well and covers up, and it sprays pretty well actually, it's cool. There you go, it's starting to block up now. Just leave the nozzle up a little bit. There we go. Again. Just blasting over the tyres as well. Watching them blow them away up with the turntables. Over and blast it with there. I'm going to get onto the wheels. Right, this is what I've got with the wheels. I've like done them in white, and then all I do then basically is I slide the wheel on, the tyre on, and I get some heat shrink, cut it down into shape, and then basically all I do is pop it over the plastic tyre. You don't need to do this, it just gives you more friction, you know, and it makes it look, I just thought to do it on this because it's like a race car and I wanted it to have like proper cool wheels. So while I'm just out of shot here, sorry about that. Right, so that's what I've done, I've just slid it on the top. And then what you need to do then is, you just take the lighter and you shrink the tube down, but I've just got to drill down through the centre there to put the axles in. And then slide it onto the axle, and it gives me somewhere to hold it while I get the lighter on it. So there we go. As you can see, it looks pretty cool like that, but I like to have it finished. It gives you a better fold. You'll see what I mean now when I say fold. Basically just the edge of where I've cut. When it melts down and shrinks, it folds over the lip and creates like a rim. So you just give it a quick blast, keep everything moving, and then press it with your fingers and twist it round. As you can see, it's starting to form a tyre shape now. So I'm just going to go over it again. Here we go. Bit of heat, bit of movement. You've got to watch your fingers on this because it gets pretty hot as well. So then you can do more than one layer as well. If you wanted a thicker tyre, you can add more layers. I just wanted it to look like low profile, so I just kept them just to one layer on these. And see, it turns out pretty well and they look decent. You got yourself a nice little wheel with a rubber tyre. So that's that. That's how I've done the tyres. Let's get the other ones out. And the front wheels are different, as you can see, because on David's car he's got 2 different sets of wheels, up to the back and the front. So I just designed 2 different types, not exactly the same as his, but it's just 2 different types. So that's why they're not all uniformed. It gives the car a bit of character as well, I feel. There you go, it's on there nice now, just showing you and there we go. So as you can see on the little picture, he's got 2 different wheels on his, so we're going to give 2 little different wheels on the car that we're building. So they turned out pretty well. I'm quite pleased with these actually, they look pretty cool. And that's what we started with, this little car, all dirtied up and what have you, and this is what we ended up with. And that's the car we're imitating. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. And David, I hope you enjoyed the car and the results. So we couldn't really do the decals, sorry. So we've sponsored it with Diecast Salvage, just sponsored this little car, and we stuck our own little stamp on it. So anyway, I'll let you enjoy the little photos and on the turntable, and thank you for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please like and subscribe and share, and I shall catch you guys in the next one. Thank you very much, guys. Bye bye, stay safe.